Hey, Mike here. We're going to talk a little bit about System 63 sequencing. We're going to start off, I have a clock module built in. This is the 100 clock. And we're going to drop in the 9624 sequencer, one of my favorites. And let's have a look at this thing under the hood. You can see we have clock and pulse inputs and a reset. So the clock input is designed to come from the 100 clock. Then you just hook up the reset. This means that the clock can drive the sequencer. New in Beta 5.1, however, you can also use any pulse or gate source. So we're just going to drop in an LFO, grab the pulse out, and plug that now into the new pulse input. And now your LFO gate can drive your sequencer. This is true of any gate or pulse output. Okay. Now let's have a look. Let's go back to using just the straight clock. Let's have a look at some of the other things back here on the 9624, because a lot of these things show up in the other sequencers as well. Let's first off start with EXT. This is an external trigger input. So to use that, we need something that will trigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in an LFO, and then we're going to use the anti-module quad comparator, sign out into the input on the quad comparator, and then gate out to crap. Well, here's the deal. I just found a bug. Let me fix this quickly. I forgot to add this in. Hey, that's why it's called a beta, right? Okay, now save this so I don't have to fix it more than once. And now gate out from the quad comparator into the external trigger module. Now this over here is the external, so we turn that on. Now you notice this is going to blink with the gate on of this. Now what that gives us is when the gate is on, sequence triggers. When it's off, sequence doesn't trigger. Now we also have something very similar to like that with this percentage trigger. You can turn it down in percentage and that randomly sets up the percentage for a random trigger. So now let's go in and add some modules for sound. We'll actually add in the LMVCO. Now we need a gate. We need a envelope. So we'll go in and we'll add in the envelope. And we will then add in filter. And lastly, we need a VCA. Okay, now let's hook this chain up so we actually get some audio. Now, my VCOs, if you'll notice, they have 2 volt per octave inputs. We're going to do this and then I'll explain why. Now, we have volt per octave coming out of the clock. What this is this right here. This is an old school voltage processor. Basically, all it is it's setting a base note for your sequence. Straighten this up a little bit here. Okay. And then your actual sequence is coming in through control voltage out of the 9624 into the 2nd volt per octave. Gate out from the sequencer to gate in on the envelope, the output to the envelope input, pick a waveform to the audio, audio to audio, and then this should actually say gate. Like I said, that's why this is a beta. So then we take our gate output from here into here. Now when we hook this up, we'll have some sound. So now you can really hear that. External trigger. And there's the effect of the per trig. Now let's talk about some of the things on the sequencer here. Number of rows is the number of rows that it actually sequences through. Directionality. We'll come down here. Number of columns, number of columns. Now directionality, right now it's running forward. You can tell it to run backwards. Both, which doesn't stop at the ends. Ends, which stops at the ends. R side, which is randomly either side. R side 2, which is randomly either side 2 or straight up random. Okay, now let's go have a look at another one of the inputs, and that is ATG. This is the additive gate. We will go out of the 2nd gate from a quad comparator. Let's go change that up a bit. Okay, and we need another module here. We need some more consistent voltage. So we'll come down here into CV and we'll do C volts. And we're going to set the output of this voltage processor to 1. Now, ATG and add are tied together. When ATG receives a positive gate, add is added into the value of CV. So now we plug that in, and we turn on the additive input. Hear the difference there? Okay, so now the last two things on here are just velocity modulation and hold modulation, and I'll fix those. They literally just do gate modulation and velocity modulation. Now you'll notice this has 4 different CV outputs. The first one follows the entire sequence, so all 24, and each one, CV1, CV2, CV3, follow each line. So that's pretty much it. Take your CV and add that to the filter. That's it. I hope you enjoyed a brief walk through Sequencing World in System 63. Make sure if you have any questions, ask on the dev channel. And thanks for watching.